Welcome back to Reacher Season 3, Episode 1 titled Persuader. Let's break it down. The first episode of Reacher Season 3, titled Persuader, starts with Reacher traveling to Maine and entering a shop that buys old musical vinyl. However, things turn upside down quickly when the former Marine foils an attempted kidnapping of a young college kid. Reacher saves the child and accidentally shoots a cop before fleeing the scene. Conversely, Reacher starts a conversation with the kid, whose name is Richard Beck, played by Johnny Berchtold, and learns that the kid's father is a renowned businessman who runs the rug business. Although Reacher doesn't want to be a part of his problem, Richard tells him to visit his father so that he can be helped in this. He kid to his home, and at the front gate, Reacher is met by a bodyguard named Pauli, played by Olivier Richters, who is bigger than Reacher. The first meeting between the two giants is enough to let the viewers know how things would turn out if these two came face to face in a fight. Nevertheless, Reacher meets Richard's father, Zachary Beck, who owns a big rug company named Bizarre Bazaar. They strike up a conversation and Zachary gets to know that Reacher needs to start fresh after accidentally killing a cop. But Zachary is a calculated businessman and would only take a person under his wing if he proves his loyalty. As a result, he makes Reacher play a game of Russian roulette and puts a bullet in the gun. Zachary tells him to point the gun to his head and pull the trigger to see if he is saved. To prove his loyalty, Reacher does that but doesn't stop after pulling the trigger for the first time, making everyone in the room nervous. Zachary takes the gun from his hand and tells him he is a part of the team now. Reacher believes that the bullet was empty, but finds out that he could have killed himself when Zachary's head of security fires the bullet into a metal box over the wooden counter. Hence, he gets a place to live. But things get interesting when he enters the room and takes out a satellite phone that is hidden inside his shoe. He calls someone and says, "I am IN," meaning that everything he has done so far is part of an elaborate plan. But what is the plan, and why is Reacher ready to put himself on the line? After the moment, most of the episode takes place in flashback sequences. It turns out that Reacher was approached by a DEA agent, Susan Duffy, played by Sonia Cassidy, who believes that Zachary Beck's rug business is a sham and running an illegal business. Now, she wants Reacher's help to know what Zachary is actually doing. But, Reacher being Reacher, he asks a favor from Duffy and would only join her if she does what he wants her to do. He asks her to get him all the information regarding a man named Francis Quinn, one of his old nemesis. A few moments later, Duffy and her team meet Reacher in a diner and give him all the information regarding Quinn and how he was saved after falling off a cliff. Meanwhile, Reacher reveals that Quinn was actually a former lieutenant who picked up extra cash selling military secrets to hostile nations. Moreover, he was seen with Zachary in his car and he wanted to find him. After the conversation, they decide to work together and help each other. Furthermore, they discuss what they want to do, how they want to do it, and why Duffy wants to pursue this case even when she has been dismissed from this particular case. It turns out that Duffy was close to getting information about Beck's business via an informant named Teresa Daniels. However, things went from bad to worse when Duffy didn't hear anything from Daniels and vanished. Duffy believes that Daniels got caught snooping on Beck, and they made her disappear. The second episode of Reacher Season 3 starts from where the first episode left off. The phone conversation between Reacher and Duffy continues, with the former U.S. Army major telling the DEA agent that her informant might be alive. After disconnecting the phone call, Reacher makes his way to his room. In the process, he starts listening to Beck's head of security, Duke, talking to someone and making his way to Reacher's room. The titular character runs toward his room and climbs the entire house from the outside to make her way inside. When Reacher doesn't open his door after several knocks, Beck's head of security barges inside and sees the window open. Initially, he feels that Reacher ran away, but the next moment, he sees him coming out of the bathroom. This entire sequence will keep viewers on the edge of their seats, and they'll take a sigh of relief when the former Marine comes out of the bathroom. The entire sequence ends with Reacher getting a task. So, Reacher has to accompany one of Beck's people to the place where the police take all the vehicles and look for the truck that hit Richard's car. After hearing about the task, he calls Duffy to discuss where he is going and asks her to reach the yard quicker to get rid of Richard's car. If Bex finds the car, he'll learn everything. How? Reacher is the only one besides Richard who saw the truck. He also knows that a grenade has been thrown into Richard's car, which his bodyguard is driving. So, if Beck gets to know that the car is pristine and there's no blood, he'll get suspicious of Reacher and the entire plan could be jeopardized. He disconnects the call and gets in the car with one of Beck's men. While talking to him, Reacher realizes that Beck is not running everything, it is someone else and Beck is just a pawn in this criminal enterprise. The undercover agent does everything in his power to buy her time. Although Duffy and one of her teammates arrive early, it is difficult for her to take the car out of the yard. Unfortunately, Reacher and Beck's informant reach the yard to check on the truck. The informant tries to bribe the policeman at the reception so that he can get inside and take pictures of the truck. When the police officer refuses, Reacher punches him in the face, knocking him unconscious. Both of them reach inside the yard and find the truth. The informant locates the truck and clicks pictures of it, but he stops when he takes a look at the car that looks exactly like Richard's car. He tells Reacher that this car looked like the vehicle that was hit during the attempted kidnapping. Reacher tells him that there are thousands of cars similar to this in the city and it might be possible that it was someone else's car. Both of them leave, and viewers find out that Duffy is below the vehicle with license plates with her. When Reacher thinks that he could have some sleep, he is called for another job. But before that, Powley and Reacher meet at the gym. Powley asks him about how much he benches, to which Reacher says that he is not a big fan of working out. For him, it doesn't prove how strong a man is. As a result, he tells Powley to play a little game that would seemingly prove who has more strength. In this game of arm wrestling, he tells Powley to get behind the preacher bench and put his elbow on it. Reacher would try to pull his opponent's fist down, while Powley would use his strength to resist. Powley calls Reacher weak after he fails to pull his fist down, but Reacher intentionally lets go, causing Powley to punch himself in the face. Both of them are about to go into a fight when Beck's head of security comes and tells them to get ready for work. Episode 3 of Reacher Season 3, titled Number 2 with a Bullet, begins with Reacher and Duke striking up a conversation about the informant. As soon as they reach home, Reacher finds himself a bowl and eats dinner. But he is stopped in the middle by Duke because Beck wants to talk to him. Beck reveals that the truck that hit Richard's car belonged to the people he had done business with. Moreover, they couldn't find anyone matching the description Reacher gave of the truck driver, which makes Beck believe that either the truck was stolen or Reacher was lying. Meanwhile, Reacher explains to Beck that kidnapping Richard was a sloppy move by the people who he had done business with and wanted to send some kind of message to the owner of Bizarre Bazaar. With those comments, Reacher creates doubt in Beck's mind and continues to tell how those people will strike again, wanting to extract more from Beck about the business. However, Beck doesn't tell him anything and tells him to take care of his job as the protector of his son. Elsewhere, Neagerly got the information that Reacher needed and got to know that Powley, Duke, and the informant had some prior experience as a law enforcement officer. On the other hand, viewers finally got to know the reality about Francis Quinn. He is someone that Reacher thought he killed in the past. Unfortunately, he survived and is back. Reacher is moving ahead with the plan, but now, he believes they need something different because Beck has already assumed that Reacher might be lying. As a result, he meets Susan Duffy and talks to her about how they need to change their plans. When Duffy asks about Francis Quinn's involvement in all of this and why he is so important to the former Army Major, Reacher reveals that he did something diabolical to one of his friends, Sergeant First Class Dominique Cole. He doesn't move forward with the story as he and Duffy reach the Bizarre Bazaar warehouse to meet Angel Doll.
Go ahead and let us know in the comments below. Once you do just that, remember to also come back for other updates.